Who do you think wins?
Oh, I have no idea. I mean, it's a toss-up at this point. You know, I really don't know. I think the person who goes out there and probably energizes their base the best at this point. And you know, when you look at somebody like President Biden, it feels like his base is pretty pissed off at him for a number of reasons.
Help him out.
Help him out? Who is she? Biden's campaign manager? Hello everyone, my name is Rogan and this is This Bahamian Gyal. On my platform, I do social commentary and reaction videos. I encourage my audience to have private conversations in public. If this is your first time on my platform, welcome. Big hearty welcome. And if this is not your first time on my platform, welcome back. If you've been here 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 times, just go ahead and subscribe to this channel, turn your notification bell on, and consider becoming a member. All the details for membership are down below. Anyway, let's get right to the video. So the Breakfast Club host, Charlamagne The God, stopped by The View. This seems to be his second favorite place after his show, to hawk his latest book, Get Honest or Die Lying, Why Small Talk Sucks. Please remember the name of that title because it's going to come in handy a little later. And of course, the lovely ladies of The View could not help themselves. They had to ask him who he was going to be endorsing in the upcoming presidential election. And what ensues after that, only God knows. Before I get into the video, I have to say this. I am not really a fan of The View. I used to be a huge fan of The View when Barbara Walters was on, but I find that the show has just evolved and just descended into something that's just completely unrecognizable to me. So I'm going to just play with Sonny Hostin has to say, and it's funny because for the name of this book, Get Honest or Die Lying, Why Small Talk Sucks. In the beginning, you could hear a little icebreaker and a lot of small talk, and you can just tell that Sonny Hostin is just waiting. If you just look at her, she's just waiting like, yeah, shut up. Let me get to the question that I have. So here we go.
Well, since this book is all about having real conversations, let's get to it. Let's get real. Now, you have a massive platform reaching millions of listeners, and you and I have talked about this before. You endorsed Joe Biden back in 2020. But this time around, you say you're not going to endorse anybody. Charlamagne, now is not the time, in my opinion, to sit this one out.
Yeah. I didn't say that. I never said I was sitting it out.
What you gonna do?
I'm definitely voting in November, but what I like to focus on is issues, not individuals. Like, you know, when
why not endorse?
Huh?
Why not endorse Biden?
Because if I'm sitting here telling my listeners that, you know, you have somebody out there who is a threat to democracy, you have somebody out there who said they want to, you know, suspend the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. You saw this person, you know, try to lead an attempted coup of this country, and I'm telling people that this guy is a threat to democracy. Have you ever read Project 25? There's only 2 candidates out there. So if I'm saying that about this individual, the choice is clear, right?
First of all, I don't know why Sonny needs this man to say who he is endorsing. I mean, yes, he has a following. Yes, he reaches millions of people, but I don't see people going into the booth and being like, what did Charlamagne say? I think a lot of people are waking up. I mean, if you got a few people out there, then that's fine. But I think the majority of people are waking up and they have their own minds and they'll vote for whomever they want to vote for. Why do we need Charlamagne to say it? Because if he endorses Joe Biden or he endorses whomever, does that mean that I'm just going to automatically vote for that person? No. I don't know why she needs him to endorse it. His response, he was like, huh?
But why not endorse?
Huh?
But why not endorse?
Huh?
Because he needed a second to think about it. That was just the dumbest response I think I've ever heard. If you're going to say, oh, I don't need to endorse because if I say that we don't want somebody who's not a threat to democracy, someone who doesn't believe that we believe in overturning the government and all these different things that he brought up, and he's essentially saying that's why I would vote for Joe Biden, then if you're going to say all of that, then just say you endorse Joe Biden, but don't play this stupid game that he's playing. Like, let me play that again. Like, I mean, just listen to it for yourself. Like, oh, if I'm saying this, then obviously then that's the choice. No, let me play that again. Because that just was dumb to me. You might as well just come out and say you're endorsing Joe Biden. And you have the right to endorse Joe Biden if that's what you want. If that's who you want to vote for, then you have every right. I support that right. But don't play this stupid game that you're playing.
Well, since this book is all about having real conversations, let's get to it. Let's get real. Now, you have a massive platform reaching millions of listeners, and you and I have talked about this before. You endorsed Joe Biden back in 2020. But this time around, you say you're not going to endorse anybody. Charlamagne, now is not the time, in my opinion, to sit this one out.
Yeah. I didn't say that. I never said I was sitting it out.
I'm glad that he said, I'm not sitting this one out. What are you talking about, sit this one out? I would think sitting this one out means I'm not going to be voting. So where are you coming from with that?
What you gonna do?
I'm definitely voting in November, but what I like to focus on is issues, not individuals. Like, you know, when
why not endorse?
Huh?
Why not endorse Biden?
Because if I'm sitting here telling my listeners that, you have somebody out there who is a threat to democracy, you have somebody out there who said they want to, suspend the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. You saw this person, try to lead an attempted coup of this country, and I'm telling people that this guy is a threat to democracy. Have you ever read Project 25? There's only 2 candidates out there. So if I'm saying that about this individual, the choice is clear, right? And I've seen y'all do this on The View before. I saw y'all do this to Killer Mike when he was on.
There aren't only 2 individuals running in this election. Let's be clear. I mean, Joe Biden is the presumptive nominee, of course. Donald Trump, of course, the Republicans have all but said, he's going to be their candidate. You have Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who was running as an independent. And then you have the author, what's her name? Marianne Williamson, who is running on the Democrat. She is the on-again, off-again, I should say, the on-again, off-again candidate, because sometimes she suspends her campaigns, then she goes, I'm back on. And I think she's even accused the Democratic National Convention of engaging in some wrongdoing or some effort to suppress her campaign, which has not been proven. But there isn't just 1 or 2 people in this race. There are 4 people for people to choose from. So let's continue.
And I've seen y'all do this on The View before. I saw y'all do this to Killer Mike when he was on The View, and Killer Mike literally sat here and said, hey, I supported Keisha Lance Bottoms. I supported Ralph Warnock. I supported John Ossoff, right, in Georgia. And he said, you should support the people that I've supported. You should support the person who the people I've supported are supporting.
Okay.
That's y'all opportunity to say, well, clearly he's talking about President Biden. Why do y'all need us to say this if we don't feel comfortable saying it?
No, it's not that we need you to say it, but I think other folks need to hear, because, one of the things I'm sorry, I just jumped you, I'm sorry, but one of the things that we've been talking about is the fact that getting facts out through the media seems to be very difficult.
I feel like I just spewed some facts.
Yeah.
Yes, but we need you to do it on your show.
Well, the reality is I think both candidates are trash. So but I am going to vote in November, and I'm going to.
I know that if these ladies had balls, they would have dropped. Okay? Because he's veering off script for them. Oh, no. I could just hear the producers in the back talking in their ears. Like, for him to say both candidates are trash, which I would not agree that they're both trash. They both have flaws. But if you don't like either of those candidates, you are free to explore the other candidates in the race. Now, some people might look at Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as a long shot. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But he is somebody that you can explore as an independent candidate. Marianne Williamson, again, on again, off again with her campaign, but that's another person you can explore. If you are a person who believes that it's going to boil down to 2 candidates, Joe Biden and Donald Trump, then choose the person who you feel is more in line with your beliefs, your belief system, your thinking, and your goals for this country. The person who is going to secure the border, the person who is going to shore up the economy.
Seems to be very difficult.
I feel like I just spewed some facts.
Yeah.
But we need you to do it on your show.
Why?
The reality is I think both candidates are trash. So but I am going to vote in November, and I'm going to vote my best interest, and I'm going to vote who I think, can preserve democracy. So if I think both candidates are trash and I don't feel like, endorsing one, would you rather me endorse an individual or endorse the fact that, hey, we need to go out here and protect democracy?
No, Charlamagne The God, I'd want you to vote for a candidate who you don't regard as trash. So, you're basically saying, I believe both candidates are trash, but I'm going to vote for the trash candidate who's going to preserve democracy, and presumably that's Joe Biden. So just say Joe Biden. I don't understand this verbal gymnastics that he's engaging in here. But keep listening.
And by the way, I think it's incredibly powerful to use your platform just to draw the contrast. I actually tend to agree that I don't think an endorsement is somehow more powerful than reminding folks the other person tried to overturn our democracy. That breaks through. But I want to ask you, because you're kind of one of these, we call them double haters. I don't like to use the phrase, but
double haters?
Double haters, like not thrilled with Biden or Trump. And
I've never heard of that, like the chicken fried.
I called it.
I thought that was just called being an American nowadays. When you look at the polls, people don't seem to be too too pleased with either one of them.
And I'm right there with you. So you've called this a race between crooks, cowards, and the couch.
That's
and
right.
you say Democrats are losing the messaging game.
But let's be clear about who I say are the crooks. I say Republicans are the crooks. I say Democrats are the cowards. And I say the couch is voter apathy. And I feel like, right now it looks like, voter apathy may win. But whose fault is that? Is that our fault or is it the candidates?
Well, and I'm curious at this juncture, 6 months out, who do you think wins?
Oh, I have no idea. I mean, it's a toss-up at this point. I really don't know. I think the person who goes out there and probably energizes their base the best at this point. And, when you look at somebody like President Biden, it feels like his base is pretty pissed off at him for a number of reasons.
Help him out.
Well, no, look,
Who is she? Biden's campaign manager? And let me stop again. The fact that she would say help him out to me signals to me that she realizes that he is in trouble, that he needs helping out. Because if he was so far ahead and so much in the lead and there was no concerns whatsoever about his reelectability, she wouldn't be asking the host of the Breakfast Club, Charlamagne The God, who's here to hawk his newest book, to help the president out. She's sounding a lot like a campaign manager versus a host of a talk show. And how is he going to help Biden out? He can say whatever he wants to say to his audience. That doesn't mean that I could say whatever I want to say to you guys. I've been telling you guys to subscribe for years now. And some of you watch, you lurk, you don't subscribe. I can only tell you, but I mean, you guys make the decision. You do what you want to do. I don't know how much influence she thinks Charlamagne The God has.
We know that. We've talked about the Republicans ad nauseum here. But when you say the Democrats are cowards, how could Democrats show more courage right now in a way that speaks to you?
By doing what, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett did to Marjorie Taylor Greene the other day, I think Michelle, the former, First Lady called a play one time and she said, when they go low, we go high. I think you got to rip that play up.
Yeah.
When they go low, you got to take it to the floor.
I don't even think she.
You see this stupidity? We had a Bahamian politician years ago during our general election who said something similar, and it was just as stupid. It was equally as stupid. And he was, of course, using a play on Michelle Obama's "When they go low, we go high." And he says, when they go low, we go lower. And you should see the people who were applauding for that foolishness. Just foolishness, just stupidity. That's not the kind of message you should be sending, especially in a presidential election or anyone. Why are you trying to fight people on those terms? When they go low, you go lower? A nice recipe for anarchy. And like I said, it just proves to me like these women are like, oh, help him out. Oh, help him out. You see that he is in trouble, clearly. If you can be begging Charlamagne The God to help him out. You know what's happened? They have underestimated this candidate called Donald Trump. They have underestimated him a lot. And I think a lot of them were left slack-jawed when he went to South Bronx in New York, which is heavily Democrat and has been so for 100 years. And he went down there, and even CNN reporters, and I was watching so many different news outlets, and people were like, well, what are you seeing on the ground? Or most of the people who are there in South Bronx, are they out-of-towners? And they're like, nope, these are people who are representing the BX. They say they're from the Bronx. This is their town, and yeah, they seem to be very enthused and eager to hear what Donald Trump has to say. Oh, well, that didn't go how I expected it to go. I don't discount and dismiss anyone because voters, they're funny. You can think that everybody is going to vote for this one person and they can switch course. That's all I have to say. You never know. And to me, for them asking Charlamagne, who do you think is going to win the election? I mean, how would he know? I mean, I think they really think he is God. But I feel like the person who is going to win come November is going to be the person who is able to articulate a vision and a robust plan to secure this border. Because right now we are wilding. Everybody seems like they're coming in and we're feeding them as they come in. That's the first thing. Number two, the candidate that's going to articulate a plan to drastically reduce gun violence and violence in this country is going to possibly be a shoo-in. Number three, the candidate who's going to reduce this country's debt, which is now at $34 trillion and counting, by the time you watch this video, it would have gone up substantially, is going to be the person who could possibly be a shoo-in. And then finally, I think the candidate who is going to be one who can focus on a lot of moral values. Now, I know for some of you out there watching this, you might think, I don't think so. But I hear this sentiment over and over again with young people, middle-aged people, and older people who are saying, listen, we've gone too far. And we need someone who can kind of bring things back to level things out. We want more wholesome values again. Even people who are more on the modern side are saying, yeah, we could benefit from a little bit more traditional values around here. Something I have not heard in America in a very long time. So whoever the candidate is who is going to address those issues, I don't know if it's going to be any one candidate, but I think that's what's going to have people incline their ears to their message.
Well, so let me ask you this. If you think that's what needs to happen, because for me, I think back to the time when we couldn't vote. So the idea of voting for, this one or this one wasn't about our best interest. It was about how do we get to point B.
That's right.
My point is, listen, I don't know if it's because he's old or people are mad. I don't know why Democrats are mad at him. But I know I'm better off with him than I am with the other one.
Right.
That's what I know. So, and we say it because we always have to remind people of what we went through in order to do this, in order to have this right to vote. And so if you say you're going to vote, then I'm not going to ask anymore.
Number one, if you don't know why people are upset with Joe Biden, and you say, I don't know if it's his age or whatever. If you're going to say, I don't know what the issue is, and you're going to be on your platform, then why not invite people on who can tell you very straight, who can be very straight up and telling you exactly why they won't vote for Joe Biden or why they don't want him to be president again. Like, rather than just saying, I don't know what it is, but you guys need to vote for him. Like, really listen to people when they speak. When someone says, I don't want to vote for Donald Trump, I listen to what they're saying. When people say, I don't want to vote for Robert F. Kennedy, I'm listening to what they're saying. Same with Joe Biden. You just can say, I don't know why, but they need to vote for him. And here's the thing. She says, we weren't always allowed to vote in this country. Black people, that is, she's referring to. All the more reason why I would take my right to vote very seriously and not just throw it away on any candidate. Again, you will not catch me endorsing anyone on this platform. To me, you make up your choice, because to Charlamagne's point earlier, I won't say that they're both trash. I'm not going to say that, because I think both candidates have their strong suits, they have their strong points, and they have their weak spots. But I think it warrants an investigation on our part, and not just watching these programs and trying to figure out, well, who should I vote for? Like, doing your own investigation, going to read. People don't want to read and figure out why this candidate is superior to this candidate. They don't want to do that. They want someone to do the work for them and present it in a 60-second soundbite and then say, oh, I'm going to vote based on this. Do your own homework. I know some of you are, I'm just going to say, you're lazy when it comes to this sort of thing, but really do your own independent homework and figure out who these candidates are, and not just listen to what is being said by these talking heads. Really research all of the candidates before you make a decision. But as I was saying earlier, the fact that Black people weren't always allowed to vote in this country, I don't take voting and that privilege for granted. But that's all the more reason why I'm going to make sure I vote the right way, the way that I want to vote, and not the way anybody tells me to vote. I don't care who it is. So that's my advice for anybody who is watching my program today. You ain't gonna hear me endorsing anyone, because everybody has their flaws, but one candidate is going to stand above the others. Make your choice.
Not only am I saying I'm going to vote, I'm telling you who the threat to democracy is.
Well, we do. Listen, we do this every day. We know who the
Well, if you're
threat
gonna
to
say-
democracy is.
And his name is Donald Trump. If you
Yeah.
if you want me to spell that one out, come on.
And one would think, since there's only two,
I mean, there's third-party candidates, but
oh yeah,
there's only
beat your behind.
I'm just saying, we got to be fair about it.
That's
There
right.
is.
But it's true. Man, so that's the end of the View. That's the end of the View conversation. Well, for that one right there. Woo, boy, these people are funny as hell. Charlamagne is just, this is Charlamagne. If he's on The View and he knows they lean mostly left, then he is going to be a little bit more sympathetic and leaning a little bit more left. He might be a liberal. He says he's not a liberal. He says he's not a conservative. I think he says he's independent. And then if he's on a platform that perhaps has more conservative viewpoints, then it's like, yeah, no, I understand that. And that's a great point. And I think both candidates are trash and all that stuff. I mean, like, listen, I say it and say it with your chest. If you don't like Trump, you say it with your chest. If you don't like Biden, you say it with your chest. If you think Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is a long shot, ain't no way in hell he's going to be elected, you say it with your chest. Same thing with Marianne. But I don't like this waving, whichever platform I'm on, I'm going to say whatever I think they want to hear. I cannot stand that. Anyway, guys, weigh in down below. Let me know what you thought about this interview on The View. I felt like this was, I felt like they were strong arming this man to give them the answer that they needed, that they were looking for. And I'm sure after this segment wrapped, it was like, come on, Charlamagne, you got to go on your platform and tell the people. Come on now. That's Sunny. That's Sunny. Oh boy, her. I'm gonna talk about her in another video because she's a piece of work. Anyway, guys, drop your comments down below. No question of the day. Just drop your comments about what you thought about this interview. And I will see you all next week, Wednesday at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I love you. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you like comments. If you like commentary like this, be sure to check out my playlist up here. And again, I'll see you all next week. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at this Bahamian Gyal and also on TikTok at this Bahamian Gyal TBG. All right, love you guys. Bye.